Good morning. My name is Father Rayappa. I am in Kattupadi village. Uh, this is our family agricultural land. My grandfather, my father, our brothers, they all do agriculture in this land. So I am in A. Kattupadi near Vellore, South India. Today I am going to talk about agrarian theology from the encyclical Laudato Si, written by Pope Francis. This encyclical is on ecology and environment. Actually, I'm going to read something from the second chapter, which is titled The Gospel of Creation. The first chapter, what is happening to our common home? Pope is discussing about the devastation, the exploitation, the plunder of our natural world, planet Earth. The second chapter, the Gospel of Creation, we discusses about the biological wealth of our planet, which has been given to humanity by the Creator. Till it and keep it. That is the mandate the Creator gave. So, God has given this planet Earth as a gift or a right. At the same time, the gift and right comes with duties. Duty is very important. Rights imply duties. There is no absolute right. Always it comes with the duty. So that is what he is talking about in the second chapter, in the subheading called The Common Destination of Goods, in which the pontiff discusses the goods of the earth belong to everyone, the past, the present, the future. And also he discusses about the private property, the ownership of material goods. Pope says there is no owning of private property without duties. Private property, if you argue, it is my right to own a private property. Pope agrees to that. So, and also he says there is a duty. So you can own a private property if you produce here that belong to everyone. So it's a common destination of goods. So in relationship with sharing the goods of the earth, in that respect, you can own private property. The church supports owning private property as long as it is beneficial to others. So look at here. This is the land. My brothers work hard and they cultivate. And the production of goods are belonging to everyone. When he cultivates, he doesn't cultivate for his own family. He cultivates for the family and other people and for insects and for animals and for the poor. So in that respect, private property is feasible. So I'm going to read something for you from the encyclical Laudato Si, especially paragraph number 93. So it is under the subheading, the common destination of goods. Actually, the private property has been discussed by even Pope Leo the 13th in Rerum Novarum. After this segment, I'm going to film another segment from Centesimus Annus, where Pope Leo the 13th, he discusses in the paragraph number 13, Centesimus Annus, about the universal destination of goods. So that is the origin. And then it was discussed by Pope John Paul II in Laborum Ex Essence, and also in his encyclical Solicitudo Rei Socialis, of course in Centesimus Annus. So Pope Francis is discussing beautifully, and he argues that private property is feasible as long as the production of goods belong to to everyone, and they benefit the whole of creation. In that respect, you can own private property. Article number 93, Pope Francis writes as follows: whether believers or not, we are agreed today that the earth is essentially a shared inheritance whose fruits are meant to benefit everyone. For believers, this becomes a question of fidelity to the Creator, since God created the world for everyone. Hence, every ecological approach needs to incorporate a social perspective which takes into account the fundamental rights of the poor and the underprivileged. The principle of the subordination of private property to the universal destination of goods, and thus the right of everyone to their use, is a golden rule of social conduct and the first principle of the whole ethical and social order. The Christian tradition has never recognized the right to private property as absolute or inviolable, and has stressed the social purpose of all forms of private property. St. John Paul forcefully reaffirmed this teaching, stating that God gave the earth to the whole human race for the sustenance of all its members without excluding or favoring anyone. These are strong words. He noted that a type of development which did not respect and promote human rights, personal and social, economic and political, including the rights of nations and of peoples, would not be really worthy of man. He clearly explained that the church does indeed defend the legitimate right to private property, but also she teaches no less clearly that there is always a social mortgage on all private property, in order that goods may serve the general purpose that God gave them. Consequently, he maintained it is not in accord with God's plan that these gifts be used in such a way that its benefits favor only a few. This calls into serious question the unjust habits of a part of humanity. So I think agriculture is a big business. Actually, lot of farmers own the land, but they think the entire produce belongs to them. And today, there are three evils that destroy the land. Agriculture is the big, it may be beneficial, but it is causing a lot of damage to the ecosystems. The first is slash and burning. I mean, the private owner thinks all the trees belong to him, so he can do anything with it. And the second thing is fertilizers. He puts the fertilizers in the clean soil and he kills the soil. Then as the crops grow, he brings the herbicides and he sprays the poison and kills the insects. And at last, GM crops, genetically modified crops, and they are driving the natural plant and natural seeds to the verge of extinction. So there are four evils happening in the sector, agricultural sector, because the farmers think that they own the land and the land is for making money. The land is to get profit. So I think the green revolution has caused a lot of damage and it has given a wrong orientation to the farmers. And today the Pope is reminding to all the farmers, it's a part of agrarian theology. So we need to tell people that, they are not, if they own the land, it is not for their own selfish interest. but it is for other people, for the universal good for others. And always it has a social purpose. That is the word Pope is using. And everything, whatever you have, has a social purpose, and it has a social mortgage. You just borrowed from the future generations. So this social purpose should be respected, and we need to cultivate the land for others to live your life and help other people to live their lives too. Not only that, to the whole of creation. When you cultivate, you don't have to kill insects with the herbicide and kill microscopic bacteria and earthworms with the fertilizers, and you don't have to go for genetic modification to produce the industrial crop, but only a organic farming can save this land. Every private property owner should go for non-violent way of agriculture, ahimsa way of agriculture. I think you should show ahimsa to the land, to the crops, to the insects. Actually, insects are the farmers. Actually, the earthworms and microscopic bacteria, they are the farmers. We just to sow the seed and go away. Everything grows automatically, but these are the real farmers. And after the production, you spray herbicide? No, that is not justice at all. So we need to relate with other creatures, and they are our partners in doing agriculture. So agrarian theology is very important. We create a theology that is going to be helpful to all the farmers, and this kind of ideas we should bring to the farmer and educate them and awaken them. The private property always comes with duties to others. It has a social purpose. My dear brothers and sisters, please read paragraph number 93 under the subheading called The Common Destination of Goods from the chapter 2, the Gospel of Creation. And again, this encyclical Laudato Si is written by Pope Francis, and it discusses about ecology and environment. Happy reading, and thank you.